The campaign in Asia Minor, 1915 to 1918, also known as the Caucasus Campaign, was a series of military operations during World War I primarily involving the Ottoman Empire, Russia, and later Armenian, Greek, and British forces. This theatre of war focused on the region of Eastern Anatolia, the Caucasus, and parts of modern-day Iran, and was a critical front in the collapse of the Ottoman Empire. The campaign in Asia Minor unfolded as part of the broader effort to dominate the Middle East and the Caucasus. The Ottoman Empire was aligned with the Central Powers, while the Russian Empire supported the Allied powers. Control over the Caucasus was vital due to its strategic position between Europe and Asia, as well as its resources, particularly oil. Russia also saw this as an opportunity to protect the Armenian population and potentially gain territory at the Ottoman Empire's expense. The campaign began in 1914, just after the Ottoman Empire entered World War I. The initial phase was marked by Ottoman offensives in the Caucasus, targeting Russian forces stationed there. One of the most significant early battles was the Battle of Sarıkamış, December 1914 to January 1915, where the Ottoman Third Army, under the leadership of Enver Pasha, suffered a devastating defeat against the Russians due to poor logistics and harsh winter conditions. Over 80,000 Ottoman soldiers were lost. The failure at Sarıkamış weakened Ottoman morale and led to a reassessment of their strategy. At the same time, it fueled tensions between the Ottomans and the Armenian population, who were accused of collaborating with the Russians. This suspicion contributed to the Armenian genocide in 1915, during which hundreds of thousands of Armenians were killed or deported by Ottoman forces. Following the defeat at Sarıkamış, the Russians launched a series of offensives in 1916, capturing key cities such as Erzurum, Trabzon, and Van. The Russian Caucasus Army, under the command of Grand Duke Nicholas, was bolstered by Armenian volunteer units. These victories shifted the balance in favor of the Allies on this front, but the campaign was far from over. The Ottoman forces, despite being weakened, managed to reorganize under leaders like Mustafa Kemal, later known as Ataturk. Meanwhile, the deteriorating situation in Russia due to the February and October revolutions of 1917 and the subsequent Bolshevik rise to power disrupted Russian military efforts. By late 1917, Russia began to withdraw from the war, especially after the Treaty of Brest-Litovsk in March 1918, which marked their formal exit from the conflict. After Russia's withdrawal, the Ottomans sought to reclaim lost territories in the Caucasus. In 1918, they launched a counteroffensive, recapturing parts of Eastern Anatolia and advancing into the South Caucasus, including Armenia, Azerbaijan, and Georgia. The Ottomans briefly occupied the cities of Baku and Tiflis, Tbilisi, seeking to establish control over the oil-rich regions of Azerbaijan. However, the end of the war in Europe in November 1918 brought the Ottoman advance to a halt. British forces, who had established a presence in Mesopotamia, modern-day Iraq, intervened in the Caucasus, particularly in Azerbaijan, to prevent the Ottomans from gaining further control of strategic resources. The Armistice of Mudros, signed in October 1918, marked the official cessation of hostilities between the Allies and the Ottoman Empire, leading to the eventual disintegration of the empire. The campaign in Asia Minor had profound consequences for the region. Human cost. The war in the Caucasus was brutal, with significant casualties on both sides, compounded by atrocities such as the Armenian genocide. Territorial changes. Following the war, much of the Ottoman territory in the Middle East and Caucasus was either occupied by Allied forces or became part of new nation-states like Armenia, Azerbaijan, and Georgia. These states initially gained independence, but were soon absorbed into the Soviet Union. Collapse of the Ottoman Empire. The military defeats and internal instability weakened the Ottoman Empire, leading to its dissolution in 1922 and the establishment of the Republic of Turkey under Mustafa Kemal Ataturk. In conclusion, the campaign in Asia Minor was a crucial, but lesser-known front in World War I that played a significant role in reshaping the political landscape of the Middle East and the Caucasus, setting the stage for future conflicts and geopolitical changes in the region.